Yeah, it's your boy Famous, NYC to LIB. The song is dedicated to David Waterby. Old school for the deaf. Your passion inspires us all. Let's go.
You control with your hands and listen with your eyes, and then you will realize that I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you.
The fact is that we all are the same, and it's nice. We all be treated the same. Recognize me, take me as a friend. We can dance and play with opportunity and chance. I know I can, yeah. We can change the world. It doesn't matter of my life. Recognize me, don't criticize me. The truth is that I can do it for my people. They are the future, give them attention. Provide the chance for more innovation. Just like you, I can do the thing you do. I'm important, what's it that discuss me? United we stand, divided we fall. All we need is only one love. All we need is only one love.
You control with your hands and listen with your eyes, and then you will realize that I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you.
No, I can't hear, but yes, I can't see. And what I see is that you don't see me. You might not understand the movement of my hands, but you need to understand I still got a plan. I still got a dream. I want to be seen. I will be seen. And dreams come true. And not just for you. If I persevere, I'm living life as if I could hear. Death and what? That ain't what's up. Boy, don't let that spill out your cup. Boy, I'd advise you to pick that up. They calling me dumb, boy, for what? Better change that. That's a fact. I got skills you can't imagine, black. That's hope in my hands. This is with my eyes. How they alive.
I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, if you are president, I'm just like you. If you are director, I'm just like you. If you are minister, I'm just like you. If you are policeman, I'm just like you. Oh, oh. I'm just like you. Oh, oh. I'm just like you.
Yeah, my Liberian people, man, we got to talk about it because it's important. Because the people then, not because say the people can hear, so that means they're not important in the society. No, we got to call them to for decision making. You understand? So that whole hand, everything we need, I don't want love, yeah? All we need, I don't want love. All we need, I don't want love.
You control with your hands and listen with your eyes, then you will realize that I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh. I'm just like you. Oh, 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 I'm just like
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, welcome to Join the Commander, J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. Rise this morning to a new day. What can we expect from this day? What can we as Liberian people look forward to from this day. Let me take a minute as I go through my topics. Then we can start our lesson for the day. Finding a direction for my people and my nation, Liberia. My topics for the day are cry for justice and the rule of law in Liberia. 2, collaborating political party CPP Saga continues. And 3, Buduburam refugee camp Liberian community in Ghana. My peoples. So let me take a coffee break, meditate for a while, for a second while, then we get back into my lesson. Just a few. Cry for justice and the rule of law in Liberia. Doc, take it away. Oh, give me a break, one tape.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Let's hold this. This is my second tape. Hold on. What happened here? Let's go back to my tape. I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes things don't come out as you want it to come out. So let me go back to my second tape and start my doc with Doc. Bear with me, folks. Sometimes these things don't come out as you want them.
In the news today, we spoke about how the president reset the PAPD document. And we, in the news today, we spoke about how the president reset the PAPD document. And we've heard that they are developing a new theme called Bill for Better. So I'm sure many of you Liberians that are home, you are wondering, Bill, what? What better? Okay, let me tell you what this government at least have done better. In the last budget, they gave President George Weah $142 million to selectively use. It's called the PSIP, Public Sector Investment Plan. And in that, the money they gave him, he can selectively use this to develop projects, like project. They even have COVID project. And they are also collecting $75 at the airport. And we also didn't see the money that they collected in the budget. So again, Liberians, I want you to think. Bill, what better is the question that you should be asking. Bill, what better? Cesar said a great thing here today. He said, did they build backwards first? Another question that you should be asking you, Liberians, did they build backwards first? The current situation that we're in right now, we see that their document, their own document, the PAPD document, they lied to us. It may have been a perfect document. Anybody can write a perfect document. The problem is, can you implement a perfect document to affect the lives of Liberian people? And this is what we're talking about, the lives of Liberians, not just our generation, but for generations to come. They promised us jobs. That was the important essence of the PAPD. Jobs will create jobs for all Liberians, but you know what they did? They gave their first job. Today we hear that Wilma Smith and Square are buddies. So, of course, you know what happens in that case, right? 24 hours later, nothing will be prosecuted. If we have not heard anything, I have time, we'll wait to hear. But yes, that's what happened. They gave their first jobs. So for those of you that want married, my cousin Janet, you got zero jobs for you. They talk about good governance and transparency. We see corruption all over the place. On a given evening, you come here and you listen to Spoon TV. You listen to Spoon Radio. We talk about the multiple corruption that these people are engaged in our country. What has happened to the poor Afrikaner? Zero. What is happening to legends now? Zero. What happened to the Mattel development? Their contract that are going to build schools, hospitals. Did anybody follow up in our government? Any leadership follow up for those people there? Zero. Okay? So yes, my brother Kev is right when he speaks about selective justice. I like to call it jungle justice, subjective justice. We see that. We've seen what happened. They have trumped up charges against a man who could be a better leader for Liberia, against a man who wants to make Liberia a more deserving place. But guess what? They're playing games. They have maligned his character because they don't want the likes of the panelists that you saw here today to make Liberia better. We have better. The people who have improved their countries, they know better than Liberians. We know better and we have done better. When it comes to sustaining peace, yeah, they will talk, the UN people are here, so peace was sustained. Because in their mind, they think peace is just the security of the country. They don't think peace about the family of Princess Cooper. What peace do they have right now when they have lost their child? Do they think they have peace about a friend of Melvin Howard who lost his life? What peace does Melvin have right now? Do they think they have peace about the 4 others who lost their life, their families? No. And this is where we talk about good governance.
So that was Miss Francine Chinwe Richardson speaking on the situation of this government of Dr. George Upon Mananria in the situation that's going on in our country. And it begs to ask the question, it begs to make the statement about justice. Where is justice? Why isn't there justice in Liberia? Cry for justice and the rule of law. Why haven't all these things been met? People die in our country day in and day out, and we have no resolution, no investigation, no report, nothing coming out of the government to tell us what happened to these people who are prominent members of our society and citizens of the West African Republic of Liberia. Not just any kind of citizens, but prominent, patriotic citizens of our country. They disappear, they get killed, and nobody can account for them. This is not real. It's not normal. It's sickening. People don't have any security in our country. Law and order is extinct or non-existent in our country. What's wrong with this? The people demonstrated yesterday. They went to demonstrate. I heard they arrested all of them. My poor girl, Tasta Princess and all. They arrested all of them. There's no justice in our country. Why? They're protesting because they want justice. They want to know what happened to the people in our country that are getting missing, that we find being killed with no explanation. People, the corporates, the people who killed these people cannot be found. Some of them have eluded the law in the country. The investigation processes of our police is sickening. They don't preserve the crime scene. They don't know, apparently they don't know how to do police investigation. We got jungle justice, just as she said. We got jungle justice. This is jungle justice, survival of the fittest. This is not the way to run a country and a government. This is not the way that decent people live and run. No, you can't continue on this process. It's not normal. It's not real. We can't go on like this. We can't go on like this. We have a civilized system of government that's supposed to run like a civilized system of government. But yet we are people getting killed and missing and ripped and all kinds of evil things happening in our country. Our country is a bastion of evil, wickedness. This is intolerable. It's intolerable. We can't go on like this, my people. We can't go on. We end up in violence. We end up in war. We end up in coup d'etats. We end up with all these negative things that we have just come out of. And we're supposed to be moving towards a better system of governance and leadership. But here we are going backwards into time and into our own bad activities. It can't be real, man. It can't be real. It can't be. It can't be real. It just can't be real. People gotta go to jail. People gotta be held accountable. People gotta be prosecuted by the law. For us to bring back a sense of decency and rule of law into our society. It's all dissipating. People just doing what they want to do. Besides the stealing, the rampant stealing, but I told you everybody in the different ministries. First of all, our ministries are tribal ministries. One ministry for the Bassa people, one ministry for the Ku people, one ministry for the Nema people, one ministry for the Bandi people, one ministry for the DC people. We can't run a country like that. So everybody in these ministries doing what they want to do because they feel they have to make their part of money to steal. And if the government if it's not a money-making institution, they got to find means to make money. Look at the transportation ministry, printing their own tickets with the police department on it. Nobody know where this money is going. Until now, we haven't heard anything about people jailed and prosecuted. What's wrong with our country, man? We can't go on like this. If everybody just doing things that they want to do it, there can be no law and order. The ordinary citizens are not safe. We are not safe. Our lives and our properties are at risk. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. And we got to get it right sooner or later. We got to get it right. We got to step to the plate sooner or later. We got to take charge of these things that are ours. We got to take charge of these things that are ours and these things that belong to Liberia and Liberian people with pride and dignity. With pride and dignity. We can't continue to be overrun and run amok by criminals and lawless people in our society. We can't. We can't. It's up to us to change that. And only us can change it. Because we have the ability to do these things. And if we sit supinely and see them happen and think that we can't change it, they will not change. They will get worse, worse. And when they hit our front doors, it will be too damn late because we sat down and watched it happen for too long and didn't act. It didn't act. It's not right. It's not right. So we got to understand where we stand. We got to understand our direction. We got to understand what we mean to each other. Because if we don't, we'll continue to fail and fail and fail and time again as our government has failed right now. So when one government fails and we don't change the process, we perpetuate the same ignorance and negativity. How can change for our future to make it any better? It can't. It can't. So we've got to take those stands and do those things that are necessary in our society to change what is going on with our people. Or else it can't happen. It can't happen. So the time of the people is here. And we can stress that more and more. Because the more people come and stress that, the more we have these negative problems and things in our society. It gets worse. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. And our children seeing these things, they're not seeing any good examples of leadership, of direction, of positive upliftment and direction for our country and people. They're not seeing it. What they're seeing is the same BS we're doing time and time again. Time and time again. And it's not right. Because the time of the Liberian people is now. And we must rise up to the plate. We must rise up to the plate like men and women and demand what is ours. Look at what they did to put him in jail yesterday. I heard they put Princess Koopa's mother and Casta girl, what her name? What the girl name? You know who I talk about. Our sister there, they put her in jail too. Casta daughter, Casta princess, they put her in jail. They put all these people in jail. So I don't know if they're out yet. I heard Casta talking about going to get them out or going to see what's the situation here with them. But we haven't heard much of it. People scared. So here we are with this situation as it is. It is as it is with us. So where do we turn for justice? Where do we turn for the rule of law? Where do we turn for accountability in our society? Ritual killings, all these kind of negative things going on, mass stealing. What's going on in our country? And these people trying to suppress our voices. Now they got blacklists again to kill people. They got blacklists out again to kill people. This is another problem in our society. And we better check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. I'm done with this topic. What more can we say on this topic? It's the same 6 and 7. Until my people in Liberia can stand up and say enough is enough. We got to go through all this kind of thing. My topic on this issue is done. Collaborating political parties, Saga continues. These people here, they political party business. I don't know who's going to run with George Weah because Cassell is out. He's in jail doing some time, good time. And we have the CPP, they discombobulated and confused. So we had the Liberty Party chairman people on the other day. Musa Belete and his crew on the other day, after the kids talking about how they felt about the ruling and what they're looking forward to. We hear that tomorrow is another hearing, and the judge is gonna, and the NEC gonna rule on these kids again between Liberty Parties, Ability Session, and ANC, Elliot Cummings versus APL and UP, All Liberian Party, People's Party, Benin Ayure, and Unity Party, Boca. These parties want to move on, and Liberty and ANC and Abilities, Liberty Party are saying, no, you can't move on because we're all in this together. We are a family. We are the Chambo family, the CPP, and your signed documents. And Article 8.5 say you cannot just jump up and leave like that. You can leave, but you can take the name. So this is where we are now. And CPP is hanging in the balance. It's just hanging there, man. It's just hanging. It's just dangling in the balance of that, in the balance of that. Yeah. So this morning, Mr. Amin Mudad, who is the chairman of the Unity Party, came out and made a statement as to what's going on. So let's just delve into that and hear what Mr. Mudad had to say to us today, because let me reload his statement too. Mr. Mudad is coming in to talk to us, and let's hear what he has to say. So just bear with me. Let me bring him in, then we can go there and hear what his issue is all about. Hear what his issue is all about. Mr. Mudad, are you standing by? Are you ready, Mr. Mudad? Mr. Mudad, yes, he is ready. So let's see what he will do with him.
In the news today,
No, this is the wrong thing. Let me get rid of this now. Sorry, excuse me, folks. Let's listen to Mr. Mudad. Mr. Mudad got his own thing going on
here. Good afternoon, everyone. All for the earth. Unity partisans, sympathizers, supporters of change, members of the press, fellow Liberians. On December 2021, the national executive committee of the Unity Party voted decisively to withdraw from the collaborating political parties after all efforts to resolve the internal issues failed. And it was unequivocally clear that the CP was evolving in ways that did not represent the values, aspirations, and philosophy of the party. That decision to withdraw was a resolute protest, moral protest, against the alteration of the framework document that embodied the very collaboration and its credibility. Our withdrawal was in line with our constitutional right and in the interest of the people we are obligated to serve. As a party representing the aspirations of the people, we are obliged and we believe it is our duty to ensure a more unanimous and credible effort that will provide the optimal leadership alternative for credible rather than self-serving reasons. It was also incumbent on us to circumvent all threats and ploys to weaken our ability to provide that leadership alternative. Thus, in keeping with the rules and guidelines set forth by the National Elections Commission, the Unity Party submitted a notarized resolution signed by more than two-thirds majority of its executive committee to the NEC informing it about the party's withdrawal from the CPP. The UP prudently followed all processes and subsequently informed all parties in the collaboration of our withdrawal. The resolution stated in succinct and unambiguous terms the reasons why the Unity Party parted ways with the CPP, which reads as follows. Whereas the Unity Party entered into a collaboration in 2020 with three other political parties, All Liberian Party, Alternative National Congress, and the Liberty Party, forming the collaborating political parties. Whereas, pursuant to Section 8.5 of the new election laws of Liberia, the National Executive Committee of the Unity Party, by absolute majority of its membership, did sign and file with the National Elections Commission a resolution to form an alliance with the ALP, ANC, and LP. Whereas, as a constituent member of the CPP, whereas ALP, as a constituent member of the CPP, complained that the CPP recruitment document filed with the National Elections Commission was altered. Whereas, an investigative committee of the CPP found that the CPP recruitment document filed with the NEC by the ANC on behalf of the collaboration was different than the original 5 copies signed and approved by the constituent parties. Whereas all efforts by the three constituent parties, ALP, LP, and UP, to get the ANC to acknowledge its fault and settle for a resolution of the problem for the success of the collaboration have failed. Whereas Unity Party cannot be bound by the framework document filed with the NEC because the party did not sign it and find its authenticity questionable. Whereas, pursuant to Article 7 of the Constitution of Liberia, the right to associate or refuse to associate in political parties, trade unions, or other organizations is a fundamental right that cannot be enjoyed. After the submission of the resolution, the NEC requested the UP to meet three requirements in order to complete its withdrawal from the CPP. Number one, submit an indemnity bond valued at $100,000 United States dollars. Submit the party's bank statements so that the Elections Commission will be able to verify if the party meets the required bank balance of $10,000 United States dollars minimum or its equivalent in Liberian dollars, and invite the NEC to inspect the party's headquarters. The Unity Party, being a law-abiding institution, fulfilled all of these requirements, and the Election Commission has since been operating with the Unity Party as an independent registered political party under the laws of Liberia. Upon publishing the guidelines for the local county by-elections for a vacancy created in the Senate as a result of a politically orchestrated witch hunt against our candidate, Brownie Samaka, who democratically and legitimately won the seat, the Unity Party submitted the completed form required for nominating our candidate, Honorable Glapohkpa Chesson, for the by-election scheduled for May 10, 2022. On March 24, 2022, Mrs. Musa Hassanbility, Martin Sekola, and the Alternative National Congress, after removing the UP and ALP from all forums and chat groups, wrote a letter, not a complaint, to the Elections Commission with basically two concerns. One, seeking clarity and advice on the status of the UP and the ALP within the CPP. Two, asking the NEC not to allow the UP and the ALP to register candidates in their own names for the local by-election. For their first count, we thought they were being extremely disingenuous, as the UP had written the three other parties, duly informing them about its withdrawal from the CPP. On March 25, 2022, the party received notice of assignment to appear for hearing on March 28, 2022, before hearing officer attorney Fonga Soare of the NEC. Our lawyers argued that the case was manufactured by the NEC out of a simple letter written by Mrs. Musa Bility and the ANC to be thrown out on two major counts. One, that the Election Commission in this administrative body and hence is an administrative body and hence cannot declare rights as was being requested by those who wrote the letter. Two, that the Elections Commission was not an advisory board, hence it is not in the position to render advice to any political party. The hearing officer ruled in the affirmative to our arguments, but yet insisted that he would still hear the case. This is massively baffling, as the two paramount reasons for which the letter was written were ruled against. What other case the hearing officer wants to hear again remains a mystery. To this end, our very brilliant lawyers filed a petition for judicial review on the hearing officer with the NEC's Board of Commissioners. As expected, the Board of Commissioners upheld the ruling of the hearing officer and asked that he resume jurisdiction over the case. What we see is a very clear and scandalous attempt to target and eliminate the Unity Party and its standard bearer, Ambassador Joseph N. Boakai, from the 2023 general and presidential elections. Even after we have stated very clearly in a sworn statement that the framework document submitted to the National Election Commission was not the framework document signed by the Unity Party on May 19, 2020, the election commissions would incautiously want to hold us to a clause in a controversial document that we are not signatory to, knowing fully that fraud vitiates everything. So the litmus test to this grand scheme of exclusion of the Unity Party in the 2023 presidential election is the Lofa County senatorial by-elections. Intriguingly, violating its own guidelines and timeline, the National Elections Commission has deliberately refused to publish the provisional list of registered candidates, which should have been done on April 4th, 2022. The Unity Party wants to make it very explicit and pray that this claims the urgent attention of the government of Liberia, as well as the international community, specifically the AU, ECOWAS, EU, and the US governments. We were robbed of our senatorial victory in Lofa. The citizens of Lofa were subjugated and denied their suffrage. The UP will no longer sit supinely and allow the rights of the people it represents to be trampled upon by a system marred by duplicity, intolerance, and a clear intent to embroil the democratic process in chaos. We reassure our partisans and sympathizers, no matter how deep and well-planned this grand conspiracy to exclude the Unity Party from the by-election in Lofa and the subsequent elections is, the Unity Party will do everything within the ambit of the law to ensure that we partake in every elections in this country. Even more emphatically, we will field our candidates in the Lofa by-election and the 2023 presidential election under the banner of the Unity Party. The Unity Party represents the aspirations and political will of hundreds of thousands of Liberians. Being denied the opportunity and right again to represent the people of Lofa will be met with stiff political opposition and sustained legal actions. These rights are guaranteed by the Constitution. We should thank our legal team for the phenomenal representation and dedication. We also appreciate the loyalty and support our partisans here and in the diaspora. Think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia. Thank you.
The voice of the chairman of the Unity Party.
Yeah. Well, my name is Yanti Professor. Well, basically, I did hear you say that NM denial of your candidate is still existing. And yesterday we were at a hearing, and by the way, tomorrow will be another hearing. Again, you from the witness testimony yesterday that by wedding forward from the Liberia Party, which said that no, you wrote the National Elections Commission informing them about the withdrawal, but you didn't say to the other official within the CPP. That's why that matter has been taken to the National Elections Commission. And another thing is, they are also talking about Section 8.52 of the framework document for which that speak to withdrawal. That's why they are holding you back. How prepared are you to put forth your business in debunking some of these claims that have been said by the other party within the CPP?
So starting from the last question, this is a trapper state. We have categorically stated that the framework document that they are purporting that is with the NEC is fraudulent. How can we subscribe to a clause in there? We have copies and we know what we signed. And as we stated before in several interviews and several statements, that the framework document that was submitted to the NEC, clauses and sections were included that weren't in the original document that we signed. So we believe again that the basis of the entire case, the premise of the entire case is false. Now going back to the issue of our statement that any opposition, any endeavor to prevent us from fielding a candidate will be met with stiff political action and legal actions, and we will not hesitate at this point to follow any means possible to ensure that our second candidate runs and wins the election.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was the statement from the political party, Unity Party, this morning. It just came out. I just saw it online this morning, telling us that they're going to take stiff action against any attempt to stop the UPP from participating in the electoral process. So we have heard from other sources all around that a tip came up with Musa Ability and some other players from the Kalango, there's other players from the CDC on it, talking about how they're going to use the court system to railroad Unity Party and Joe Borka. We keep them in court throughout the process. So it has come out now that Unity Party is saying that there is a conspiracy. There is an ongoing conspiracy to keep them out of the election, either from the opposition party or from within the CPP itself. They said they went through the executive committee, according to Mr. Mudad, they got all the signatures from the executive committee to withdraw from the CPP. But what Cummings and Ability are saying in their quest to stop Unity Party from pursuing the quest for political advancement in Liberia is that, yes, maybe we have done all of that, but there is still a provision in section 8.5 of the framework of our document that even if you have the approval of 2/3 of the majority of the executive committee to leave, you still cannot leave with your name. You still cannot leave. So Mudad is saying that was not a complaint from Cummings and Ability. They just wrote a letter, and NEC is acting on the letter and not a complaint from the CPP parties that still remain, Ability and ANC. So here we are with the situation. And the NEC is going to look into that matter today again because they have taken it up. They said they're going to resolve it. So we're going to see how they're going to resolve it. Okay? And if it is a conspiracy of the WIA government to keep Joe Borka's party prolonged in legal issues in the NEC that they cannot participate in this election, this will not work. This will not lead to peace in our society. This will not lead to stability in our country. This will lead to unrest. We cannot do this. We are going back into a bellicose situation that we just came out of, a warlike situation. We cannot afford these kind of things. And this is what happens when you put ignorant people in our government who are not educated, who are not professionally qualified for these positions. You put them in there, the first thing they see is the opportunity to stay in power, prolong their power, they stay in power indefinitely. We can't do this. We can't go through this thing time and time again. What wrong with our African leaders? What wrong with y'all? You know, it's a pride to lead your country with dignity and honor. And when your time is finished, step aside and let other people take it over. Look at Annie Johnson Sirleaf. All the shit she did, she's still enjoying Liberia. She's still making comments. Nobody going after her to beat her, even though one put her in jail. Nobody going after her to do harm to her. This is the way it's supposed to be. But you come here and you want to prolong yourself in power. You want to tarnish our laws and infringe on other people's rights and privileges and rights. It can't happen. These are the things that lead to war, to coup, to violence. These are the same things we're trying to avoid, and these are the same things you're pushing us toward because of your behaviors, because of your attitudes, because you have no respect for law and order. And this is a problem. We can't go through this time and time again. And I rest my case on this subject. I rest my case because we see what will happen with CDC and UP and CPP and all this. We will see what will happen with them, what will become of them. Because if they're ready have a conspiracy to keep Boca out of the election, it will not happen. It will not happen. Then we better expect violence this election. It will not happen because time and time again we go through the same thing. We take one step forward, we take two steps backwards. It can't work. I rest my case on that topic. Let me take a break. I'll come back and end my topic with my people. Before I go on, what happened to this $500 receipt, $500,000 receipt that Buffer Chambers received from this Ivanhoe company? What happened to it? All of a sudden, it's gone silent again. There was news of a receipt floating around Monrovia, signed by the Speaker of the House, receiving $500,000 for legislative engagement for our corrupt legislators to give our railways away to one company. These people are too rich. I think we need to audit all our legislators. We need to audit all of them. Let's see where they got this money from. Every one of these fools got to be audited. Every one of them. We got to know where they got their money from. Okay? I rest my case on that. Let's go to my final topic, my Liberian people in Buduburam camp. Y'all saw the video for all of you on Facebook, the movies, and the video and the pictures of my CEO, Mr. Rollinson Juruka. Yesterday he went in the market and he bought all the mixing pans, the mixing bowls, they bought the wok to fix color, they got to buy the gas, they bought everything yesterday. They spent about good $400 yesterday buying baking equipment and supplies. So they're going to be making color, they're going to be making, to teach them how to make donut, how to make color, how to make all kinds of things. They'll be making it and selling it. And this is where our community is supposed to live. Not depending on corrupt people in our government who just want to steal, and think that our government belongs to their power and honor. No. We got to be real men and women of our country. We got to step to the plate and do for our country, not have our country do for us. This is what Eula and all the other useless Liberians are doing, having our country do for them when they should be doing for Liberia. But Attorney Commander Chesson knows better. I am a patriot. I know my duties and responsibilities to my country. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Aluta continua. This is an example of what Liberians should step to the plate and do. Who can do that? Raise money, start self-help projects in our different communities, and let our people step to the plate and understand that working for yourself is pride and dignity far beyond working for the government for free. The time of the Liberian people is now. My class is done. Freedom, justice, equality, patriotism are the standards of Liberianism. Aluta continua. My class is done. Have a good day. in the cause of the people.